coming at you with a live. And I'm doing this live very ad hoc right now because, hey, I'm at the gym. I'm on my cool down right now for my run. And man, what a good workout I had. But hey, I wanted to come at you because I had thoughts in my mind, right? And I say, hey, you know what? If folks want to hear about Ifa, let's tell them about Ifa. But let's talk real talk a little bit, right? So, obviously, I wanted to kind of talk about a topic that I think is near and dear to my heart, right? And it talks a lot about the truth before the throne, right? And the reason why I named it The Truth Before the Throne, and it was an actual talking paper that I created so that people can better understand that there's a lot more to walking this walk, right? This is something that I believe is somewhat of I will call it a disease, I will call it a cancer, right? But it's something that our community is plagued with, right? And it's called rushing to the crown, right? This is the reason why I say truth before the throne, right? And people are racing to build a title before they even built the character, right? And if you guys hear me okay, make sure you let me know I'm hearing okay. Obviously, I'm in the gym, right? So let me get them thumbs up. But long story short, people are racing, right, to build character. They skip foundation. They skip reflection, right? They skip that process, and then they wonder why the kingdoms crumbled before they even stood. And what I would like to say, and what I would like to say is that, listen, we don't live in medieval times. We don't live 1,000 years ago. We live today, right? And we are here to support our families. We are here to support our spiritual growth. We are here to support our kids. We are here specifically to break generational curses. Because the reason why you and I are standing here goes to the studies of Antonwa, the reincarnation, the unfinished business that we promised God that when we were going to come down here, we were going to get it done. And sometimes we get distracted. Sometimes our own character is poor. Sometimes we are weak to a lot of influences. And we find out later after we die that guess what? We're going to come back and do it all over again. And this is why we see a lot of people suffering, homeless. We see a lot of people with disease. We see a lot of families in poverty. We see that struggle because we have not been able to uplift ourselves. Hence, we have not been able to uplift our family. All right, so, I know this personally. The rush is what I'm talking about. Because I'll give you a mistake that I made many years ago, right, when I first became a Babalawo, right? And for years, I was behind in my studies, behind spiritually, mentally, and in service to people. Spiritually, mentally, I was behind the power curve because this is what I did. Even though I grew up in the faith, even though I spent decades in the faith before I became a Babalawo, I became a Babalawo very rapidly. I decided to get my hand at Ifa finally, and then I immediately became a Babalawo for the sake of what? Because I was hungry for knowledge. I was hungry for alignment. I was hungry for all of that. And I rushed it. And I was allowed to rush it. And that, again, that set me back. So I see the same thing happening in many of people in the communities, a lot of spiritual houses within the Yoruba faith system. And I think that's very important. So here's the big key, right? Instead of walking the path, they run off the road. And then they return lost. Then they become misguided. Then they drag the rest of the community down with them with maybe illusions of what they think is right. And it's a lot of times not even the fault of theirs. Sometimes we got to blame elders. Sometimes, and most of the time, and I want to say the majority of the fault falls on the person, which is why I'm telling you this. Right? This is a lifetime of discipline. Right? Ifa teaches us that through Eyobe, right, the very beginning, that Ori, the head, right, the subconscious mind inside the head. The head is called Leri. Inside your head, that little speck of light, right, that even in science you can see, is called Yori. It has to be honored before any crown is worn. It has to be understood before any crown is worn. Ori waited while others mocked it in a famous pataki, right, in Eyobe. And at the end, Ori made the Ebo when no one else would. And in the end, Ori broke the Obi that then united what we call the body parts, metaphorically speaking, right? And was at that very moment the one that earned the crown of the body, the head, and inside the head, Ori. So when you're twisted, when you jump on social media, let's say for example, and let's say you're trying to influence others, and yet you feel that you know but you don't know, you gotta be careful. When you are standing beside your family and you're not willing to humble yourself and understand that maybe you don't have all the data, you need to humble yourself. When you're standing in front of your spiritual leaders, right, the Babalawos or the Olorishas, and you want to see, hey, where am I going and how am I getting there? You need to reflect. Am I taking my time or am I merely rushing? So here's the thing, right? We cannot and we have to be careful, right? Because are we walking because we are king and queens in this world? Or are we walking because we're a child without discipline, right? We have to be very careful because, we burden a responsibility when we go through consecrations, when we become Babalawos, when we become Olorishas. And this is the reason why when you become an Aleyi, right? That is your moment to shine. That is your moment to align yourself. That is your moment of restitution to understand where you're going and how you're getting there. True leadership starts with checking your ego. Humility doesn't mean silence. It means alignment. It means knowing that none of us are better than each other. I am not better than you. You're not better than me. And we need to be able to acknowledge that. Hey, Buddha boy, Bucheche sound ghost. Buddha boy, Bucheche Bridget. So, a good rule of thumb that I like to tell everybody is that we are all fighting for the same thing. Right? Either we're creating or we're continuing a generational curse. And if you lived in those families, no different than how I grew up, very poor, and I had to work my way up, I had to find a profession, I had to go to school, I had to educate myself, and I refused to be the lowest common denominator in my family because I was trying to break something. And Ifa warned me when I received my hand of Ifa, Wani Bofuni. Your ancestors need alignment. You need to continue to grow that ancestral line. You need to break those generational curses. So I did, in order to establish legacy, culture, tradition, not only for myself, but for the community at large. So that when God looks down on me, God is saying, you know what? That is a true person that went down there with true intention, understood what I wanted and how I want things to be maneuvered, and he's doing his job. We need to be reflective of that. A weak Ori, okay? A weak Ori gets influenced by others very easily. And I like to think that that's the majority, the minority, those who are tuning in right now. I like to think of you guys as the minorities. Because guess what you do? You don't necessarily allow yourself to be influenced. More importantly, you understand the importance of building a perception and now allowing others to deceive you. Don't allow others to tell you what right and wrong look like per se without you having the facts and the data. If Orunmila is wisdom, and we have to lean on Orunmila, but that means in order for us to get to wisdom, we have to know two things: knowledge and understanding. And we need those things, and those things are fundamental. So again, a weak Ori gets influenced by others. Be careful, especially those who lack attention, those who suffer from low self-esteem, self-worth, right? Or chase clots, for example, right? Those are the people you got to be careful about. That's not you, but it's others that try to manipulate. Right? So then when we talk about those things, that's why you have to know your Ori. You got to receive your hand of Ifa. You have to understand your foundational power. If not, you'll keep projecting strength, right? While denying internally what is truly needed. So remember this. So you can perform all the ceremonies, you can receive all the orishas, but without iwapale, without that good character, you receive nothing but shells, right? And nothing of substance inside of it. Ifa says in Iyobe that he who rushes to fly like the butterfly will burn his wings. So you got to take your time. You got to build slowly. You got to serve deeply, right? And above all else, you have to reflect. And I think that's very important for us to always remember. So here's something else I want to share with you. I want to share with you the pataki that highlights this in order for you guys to truly understand that, hey, even I might find myself going into social media in order to partake wisdom. And each and every one of you should always consider, hey, is this guy real? Is this guy fake? Does this guy go against the teachings of my spiritual house? And that's a good way to look at it, right? Because we got to respect that. So here's a pataki from the open. So once in the Olorums, right, in the heavens, right, all divinities had no head. Right? Ori, the divinity of the head, sought permission to serve its guardian, Orisha, but lacked the obi required for the ritual. Orumila, having done his own sacrifice, set aside an obi, set aside 4 obis actually, right? In this sacred space that Orumila had. Orumila, having done his own sacrifice, right? And set aside those 4 obis, one by one, Ogun, Chango, Obatala, and even Orisha Oku, they attempted to crack the obi. Okay? But Orumila said that none were worthy, and they were unable to. So then only said when they were worthy enough would someone be able to crack these obis. Only when Ori came humbly did Orumila bathe Ori, honor Ori, and invite it to try. Ori was able to crack these obis, and a massive explosion was heard throughout the universe and the Olorus. Then all the parts of the body, the head, the chest, the feet, the neck, all gathered, all the parts gathered. And they told them, we did not know you were the most important. From that moment, the head was crowned king of the body. And until this day, it bows to Orumila in reverence, which is the Orisha of wisdom. And this is the reason why we have to kind of look at this lesson, right? When you humble yourself and you serve your destiny, all things will serve you. And I hope that you guys are able to kind of understand that. Johnny, a little boy, New Jersey love, I'm from Newark. A little boy laughing. Little boy, Bridget. All right. So we have to be able to understand that we got to humble ourselves to serve your destiny. Right? So that that way all things will serve you. So, little boy, Bucheche, I wanted to partake that while I was at the gym. My cool down is about over. I don't mind taking a couple of questions if you guys got questions in there. But today I just wanted to say to you, feed your Ori, right? Through intellectual, right? Through good conversations, through respectful truthfulness, right? Understanding that at the end of the day, wisdom is what you're looking for, knowledge and understanding. Stand in your Ifa, make your bosses. The world is full of illusions, but Ifa is truth. And you are not here by accident. Your head brought you here, right? Ifa says your enemies may try, but they cannot defeat your Ori. If it is crowned properly through what I said, don't wait to live, right? Rise now. Your head is waiting to be honored. You guys are up. You guys are up. Johnny, no, I'm from Newark, baby. You say you from Carteret. Yeah. Yeah, I remember the school of Carteret. I didn't go to elementary. I went to Rafael Hernandez when it first opened down in Broadway in Newark. And then before that, I went to Roberto Clemente, right, in Summer Avenue and 2nd Ave. So no, little boy, Bucheche. Hey, Lizette, little boy. I know I'm always here to teach. I'm always here to listen. You guys know how to get a hold of me. Look through my videos, my description tab, got emails and everything. All right, with that said, got to get to my muscle building now. Little boy, Bucheche Cyberland from your favorite Babalawo. At least I hope so. I'm all doing delicate coming at you guys. Have a blessed one.